Hi y'all. This is Keri, and today on the Learning Soundbite series, get real. You've already tuned me out, haven't you? Well, what I'm demonstrating here on today's Learning Soundbite is that some very simple things about delivery can make a really big difference in how people will actually listen to you when you speak. The first thing I'm going to talk about is fillers, something we all experience at various times. The second thing I'm going to talk about is how you can learn to breathe and how you can pause. And the third thing I'll talk about is how important it is to have some inflection in your voice. So let's start off and let's talk about fillers. Now, all of us use fillers occasionally. Fillers are things like like, well, you know, and they can really hurt our professionalism. So my encouragement to you is there's two tips I'll give you. And the first is a lot of us tend to use fillers as we complete our sentences. So what we do is we link one thought to the next thought, so we use a filler. Did you see what I just did? I used the filler so to link my thoughts. Now, if you find yourself doing this, what I would encourage you to do is think about saying your sentence, putting a period at the end of your sentence, then starting your next sentence. Put a period, next sentence. That works for a lot of people. The second tip that works for some people is as you finish your sentence and you're about to say a filler, catch yourself, pull it back in before you actually say the word. So, that was my natural tendency there, was to say the word so. As about the time I say it, I pull it back in. My recommendation is, now that we all have our various mobile devices with us, is record yourself. If you will record yourself, you will catch whatever filler you have fallen into the habit of using. There was one semester whenever I used you know at the end of all my sentences. I caught myself by watching myself on video again, and audio works as well. So now that we've learned some about these fillers, let's talk a little bit about how to breathe and how to pause, because they can quite often help with fillers. How many times do you watch people breathe and they breathe like this? They get very breathy. Now, I will tell you that breathiness sometimes is caused by not breathing properly, but it can also be caused by allergies, by being pregnant, believe it or not, anything that restricts your airflow. So let's talk about where our diaphragm is. I do an interesting activity usually in person with my class, but if you put your hands about right here, that is where your breath should be coming from, not here. Can you see the difference? Do me a favor, take a nice deep breath. You probably even noticed that as I took a nice deep breath, my speaking got clearer, my voice got calmer. It calms your nerves. It's a wonderful, wonderful strategy to help you avoid the natural nerves that most of us have when we speak. Now, whenever you're taking that breath, quite often you'll have to pause when you speak. Please don't be afraid of pauses. As a matter of fact, usually your audience has no idea that you've actually taken a pause and you're taking a breath. 2 to 3 seconds does not seem unnatural. I have this philosophy that the reason that we don't pause as much as we used to has to do with the fact that we won't even sit in public by ourselves. We pull out our phones to pretend like we still have a conversation. Oh, I'm not alone. There's not silence here. Embrace silence. Pausing can be the nicest gift that you give to your audience. So with that said, let's talk about our third point, which is inflection. Now, lots of people tell you, go high and go low and go all over the place with your voice. Some of you, that would be really unnatural. So I don't want you to be unnatural with your inflection. What I do is just make sure that you don't want it to be flat. You don't want it to be monotone, but you can raise your pitch a little, lower your pitch, pause. All of these things add interest to the way that you speak. But at the end of the day, really think a lot about who you are as a speaker. You don't want to be boring and monotone. Nobody will listen to you if you stand here forever and just say things in one voice. You never take pauses. You never raise your voice or lower your voice any whatsoever. You get really, really boring really, really fast, right? Okay. So be natural, be you, use a little bit of that inflection. Don't forget the fact that you can pause and give yourself permission to breathe. And then that first thing we talked about, fillers. Those three things can make your delivery much, much stronger in a very short period of time. So have fun, y'all.